looks so beautiful, and I'm so honored and blessed to be here. I must admit, when Nooks called me and asked for me to be here, I was like, all right, this is different. I come from a teaching background. I've been a professor for the past 10 years. Teaching accounting, it's a subject that I'm very passionate about. And I was like, all right, I love talk, I love money, we're gonna make this work, right? So today is about practical steps, right? I actually really loved that Dr. Moore came on and talked about the permission to walk boldly in your purpose. You've probably heard that before in some way, shape, or form, but how do you do it, right? What steps do you need to take in this moment in time that will get you to that place financially that you need to be, right? And guys, I am two disclaimer. Simone is not perfect. I am the typical Aries. I want to try it for myself first, fall flat on my face in a lot of ways, and regroup. But a lot of what we're going to talk about here today is from my experiences as a professor, from my experiences as a business owner. I've had an accounting practice for the past 5 years, and just working with wealthy individuals and just really realizing how they think. They think different, right? And having an accounting practice, I'm seeing different people and they're making these decisions, and I'm but wait, So it's really about how do you think about money, right? We all have an inherent mindset when it comes to money. And believe it or not, it might come out physically, like you may grow up and you may have, maybe you grew up poor, right? You didn't have it. So consequently, now that you're making money, you're saying, well, I have to save it. I can't spend it. I'm not going to do the things that I enjoy because I don't want any lack in my life, right? So we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to talk about, okay, what rules do we apply? So we're going to go through, but basically 4 objectives today, right? You're going to understand what is the definition of a money mindset. We're going to develop a deep understanding of what financial tools you can use at different levels, right? Some of you here may be novice. Some of you here may be seasoned. Some of you here might be at a post-career stage, right? And so the mindset needs to change or will change at different levels depending on where you are. And then we're going to talk about execution. Right? We're going to gain clarity, and I want you guys to walk away with actionable items that you can take today, right now, and start to develop and walk in that purpose, right, that Dr. Moore talked about. All right? So you're going to write, right? So phone, notepad. This is Professor Keize, right? And we're going to do some affirmations as well. So I want to start with a Bible verse. Isaiah 40, verse 31. My family, we do a Sunday family worship, and we just started recently. And my cousin posted this in our little family group. And wait a second, it just licked me, right? It was one of those things where I was going through a tough time financially. I was in the process of buying a house, and it was just very, if you've ever done the process, it's nerve-wracking, right? So the verse says, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. All right, I'm going to say that again. For those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint, right? You have a purpose. I believe you're exactly where you are right now for a reason, right? Nothing is by coincidence, right? The Lord wanted you to be here. So consequently, what we're going to do is, let's talk about what is your mindset. What does a mindset mean? So definition, money mindset refers to your beliefs, emotions that influence your financial habits, your behaviors. And these are typically shaped by personal experience, cultural background, um, just your overall attitude as it comes to money. So number one, we've defined it. We know what money mindset is. We all come from varied mindsets. Again, some of you could have grown up poor. Some of you, maybe you were never lacking. So of course, your mindset here in the room is going to be different for every different individual. So the tools that I'm going to impart on you today may be relevant for some, might not be relevant for others, but you're taking the concept in, right? So first things first. Can I have a show of hands here for anyone who has a business? If you, okay. So I'm assuming for the rest of you, do you have a 9 to 5? 9 to 5. Who has both? Amen? 9 to 5, or, right? So you're getting a P24 or a W2, you work for somebody, and you have a side hustle, all right? So I'm glad I did that because you can't really shift your mindset if you don't have the money, right? This is about a money mindset, right? First, you need to monetize yourself, right? Monetization. Oops. Take a sip. I'm about to dive in. Monetization. What is monetization? Monetization, basically what we're saying here is you can't really get rich working for people, right? There's a cap. Hands down. Number two, you have to have multiple sources of income. You should never, ever, ever be relying on one source, okay? So for those of you who have a regular 9 to 5, right? That's one. For those of you with the business, are there other areas within the business, right, that you can expand on, right? So you have to have something that come in, right? Today I want to focus on how do I monetize my skills? We all have different skills, right? Dr. Moore just talked about stepping into your purpose, and when God gives you a calling, some of you start itch, right? And you wait because we're nervous. And I'll tell you, when I started my accounting practice, just based upon my experience, I thought I didn't have the confidence, right? I felt like it was something I could not do on my own. So I called two friends, and we said, hey, let's do a partnership. Bad idea, right? So when you are called and you know that you need to take that next step, you want to generate multiple sources of income, right? What is monetization of your skills? So I just want you guys to think, what is something that today you're doing for free, right? Something that you're doing for friends. Just think about, you like to bake, right? Your friend is having a party. They're like, hey, let me call Sally. Sally knows to bake really, really good. Make a big, ask her to bake the cake, right? And this has been the trend. But what does that do? You have to buy the ingredients. It's not easy, right? So now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to set up our thing, right? Hey, hi. I know you want that cake. However, I have this new website, and if you go there, you could order it, right? Two things is going to happen. It's either I'm going to support you or they're not, right? That's it, period. Okay? So if they're your friends and you're pointing them in that direction to say, hey, this is where I am now, and they don't feel the need that you are worth the money in the first place, then it's okay. Because guess what? You're not losing. Because now you've gotten back your time, right? Because people are using your time for free. Stop. Stop it, okay? So, you already know, so I want you to jot it down. Two things. What are 2 different ways you think you could bring money in? Just write it down. How do you think you could monetize yourself? What are some things that you're doing right now that you think you could package this, sell it? All right. By now, you should have your 2 things. I want you to get your phones out, and I want you to type in a website for me. www, your name.com. So whatever your name is, write it out. www, what is your name.com. Is it available? Who else have your name on it? So this is where you get savvy. Right? Guys, this is about consultancy. What is consultancy? You're solving a problem, right? You are solving a problem, right? And this is what we're going to do. Is your name available? If your name is available, I'm going to say, I want you, your next step, you're going to go to www.namecheap.com. And you don't have to do it right now. It's called namecheap.com, yeah. And you need to buy your name. Buy your domain immediately. We are all multifaceted individuals. We will and we have income from multiple sources. That site is going to be the site where you point people to the different ways in which they can reach you and the services that you are providing. Right? Simone Keize is a professor. Simone Keize owns her own consulting firm. Simone Keize likes to speak. One website, right? Oh, you want me for accounting? Click there. It brings you to the accounting site. Oh, you want me to speak? You click here. It brings you to my public speaking site, right? Go to WordPress, learn how to make your own site, and link it to the Namecheap. Okay? Get your name off the market. It's yours. And if your name is already taken, I'm going to ask you to get savvy, right? Or maybe a variation of, right? But think of something. All right. So you have the domain. What we're going to do next, right? Of course, the marketing, all of that, but I'm going to focus on the money part, right? Another way over the years that I've seen women shortchange themselves is pricing. And that is really directed, it's so linked to your money mindset because you've heard that people with low self-esteem tend to lowball themselves a lot, right? Stop it, okay? Men, let me tell you, them double and triple up them thing. They do. And they don't itch when them say it either. We say, okay, the price is 1,000, but I would, no. And if you're uncomfortable talking money, it is okay because now you have your website and the prices are laid out and you don't have to tell anybody anything. They know what they're coming in with. My cakes start at $500. Done. Okay? So we have to stop lowballing. How do you price your product or service? Based on impact, okay? Time, the value you're bringing, okay? Do you have a formula though? Right? Because sometimes a client come to you and you think it's one thing and then you go in there and you realize it's a whole different thing. And then you're like, you feel away because you felt like I really lowball myself. I shouldn't have done this for this price. It was just, So I have a little formula that I use when it comes to pricing. Products or services. The first thing is you collect your tax money. 10%, I say. Depending on where you live, you know your tax bracket, but you put that out there. To the tax money, you're going to add your prep time. What is your time worth to you hourly? All right? So if you know you're billing 1,500 an hour, create a little formula in Excel, prep time. So to the 10% tax, to the prep time, we're gonna add live call time. Because if me have to meet with you on Zoom before and after, that's like an hour of my time as well. Okay? And then my favorite, your expertise, flat rate. This is you paying me for knowing what I know. I've been doing this for 15 years. Yeah, I gave you the answer in 5 minutes, but it took me 15 years to get there to tell you in 5 minutes. Okay? So you're going to add in your expertise and an upcharge, because we're afraid to add the upcharge, And may I tell you, guys, I've done this in my practice. I'm not telling you anything that has not befallen on me. That is the word, right? Because, when I started my practice, I'm like, man, hustle. Any client, we're doing tax, we're doing this. So, of course, you're getting in people that might not necessarily be the right fit, but then how are you going to know, right? You don't have to know everything to start. Start. Walk boldly. That's what Dr. Moore said, walk bold. Right? Because enough people out there with business, they don't know much like you. May I tell you? A lot. Right? So buy your website. Think about the ways you want to monetize yourself. Put in your pricing formula. Price your products. And publish a site. Anytime anybody asks you nothing for free, be like, oh, I have a beautiful website over there. www. Right? Send it on. Guys, indulge me for a minute. I'd love if you could repeat this after me. I attract money effortlessly. Money flows into my life with ease. All my needs are met. Nothing is missing. And that's it. You tell yourself, write your own affirmations, right? All my needs are met. Nothing is missing. I am exactly where I need to be. Money love me. Yes. It comes to me. Right? Roll it in. Guys, and you'd be surprised, right? You'll be surprised. A lot can happen in a year, You can quadruple and all 5 times up your income, Right? So, but if you don't put the mechanisms in place for people to reach you, right, and conduct business with you, then you're really at the back, right? So even if you already have a business, right, I always tell my business owners, the next step is you invest. Know that you're making the money, what are you going to do with it? Okay? So we're going to talk about that. Go with me to Jeremiah 29, verses 11. Jeremiah 29, 11. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans for welfare and not evil, to give you a future and a hope. God promises He will take care of you. There have been times, guys, with flat on my face. But guess what? Me and my kids, we've never slept on the street. Why? You're protected, right? Owning a business is hard. Customer service, financial, this, that. It's not a walk in the park. Business owners here, they can tell you, right? However, there's nothing like it working for yourself. And most people will tell you, once they start working for themselves, it's so hard to go back in anybody's place to a 9 to 5. It's like once you've tasted that, it's a wrap, right? So this is where we need to be, ladies. What we're trying to do here is create a life of wealth and abundance, and that is okay, right? Don't be afraid. You are all children of the Lord, right? Don't think that, well, this means I won't be humble, right? Your humility will still be there, right? However, you have to be targeted. You have to have a plan, okay? So the second step is make the money work for you. Don't work for it, right? Make the money work for you, not the opposite. So You have money coming in. Developing systems around your money. Very, very important. We can't just spend all willy-nilly right now. You need to think about retirement. You need to think about what that looks like for you or how you want that to look. Because, look, guys, you're making the money now with the intent that you are going to cut back, right? 50, 60 years old, I want to be chilling on a beach, right? How can I still make money in my pajamas? That type of flex, right? So now that we have the money, we're going to make it work for us. Number one, we're going to create a budget. I have a budget for myself and the business. There are some apps that are really good out there. Mint. Anybody here use a budgeting app? No? Rocket Money. But I like good old Excel. I don't know. I just like my little Excel spreadsheet. Money coming in. What am I expecting out? I have all my bills listed out by due date. Right? And I know, okay, this week, these are the bills. This is what I need to ensure is in my account and covered. And guys, we're busy. I'm a mom of 2 kids. I have a 16-year-old and I have a 3-year-old. Don't ask, right? Right? And so we need to systemize our lives as much as possible, right? Put what you can on auto pay, right? Because the money are going to come in. It's going to come, right? So now you create the budget, and I recommend visiting the budget every Sunday. That's usually my day, like in the nights when I'm planning the week, or whatever day that you use to plan your week. Mondays is like my CEO days. I don't see clients. Usually that's the day like I'm just planning. You have to pick a day. If even you can't afford to have a whole day, you have to carve out the time. It is extremely important. Okay? So you need to have a tool to track the money. Number 2. Profit first. Being in accounting practice, I can't tell you how many clients I've met who are more seasoned, wanting to wind down, wanting to retire, but they can't because they don't have the money, right? So they're working. And these are people who have had businesses all their lives. And I realize it's so easy to be caught up in the weeds, working every day. And then the time just goes by and you're like, what do I have to show for the money? What do I have to show? Right? Profit first means for every dollar that you've earned or you will be earning, the first 10% goes to a profit first account. Don't even look at it. The first, and I mean, you might not be able to start off at 10%. If you want to start at 5, start at 5, right? But you should have 5 bank accounts. Business-wise, your profit first, you should have an operational expenses account. You should have an account just for the money to come in. It's called a receivables. So that's one account that clients pay. That's your money coming in account. When that money comes in, you distribute it to the others. So the 10% goes to the profit first. You put some to operational. You put some to your tax account, right? Structure it how it should be. How do you want it to be? The key here is this. You see that profit first account? The sole purpose of that account is to generate other sources of income. So if you're not able, that account is for investing purposes only. Anything that you can put in place to help you to make more money. Now, I live in Florida. So normally when I'm doing a tax planning with a consult with a client, I'll say, listen, especially if they're at a certain bracket, you need to start buying property. Right? And sometimes my younger clients are like, I don't really want to, but forget about your feelings. Right? You don't have to live in it right away. It might not necessarily be a dream home. Not everybody has to buy the dream home right away. Really. If it look good, you can afford it, you think you can go for a loan, you can get it, go get it. Do not be scared. It will be paid for. Right? You rent out the money. You rent it out. Make sure you cover back your mortgage or, but you have money coming in. This house will eventually pay for itself. It will get to a point where it's fully paid off, and then you're chilling on the beach, right? With your money coming in. Start now. Even if it's a little efficiency. One property a year is what I say. I know it's Jamaica, so I would say if you can do one every 2 years, but set your sights on something. I was working with a client once, I think he lives in like Utah, and he said to me he bought cows with the money. And I was like, cow? You know what to do with cow? He's a lawyer. I was like, that's weird. And he's like, no, I have a guy and farm them and, I get to the cows and his intent, grass-fed, so they're going to be like Wagyu beef, right? So it's not cheap, right? So he bought these cows for like $1,000. And in the end, he can probably get about 10, 20 on one. Not bad. Quick turnaround. Storage units, right? You don't even have to be the one to spearhead it. If you are aware of investment opportunities, you have your profit first account. You can take care, you can do it. Right? So use that wisely. If it's not going to bring in more income, do not do it. Let me tell you, personal story. I was dating this guy. I thought I was in love. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. At the time, I thought I was in love. And so I broke a rule. And the rule was I should not buy any property with no man, right? It should be, if I'm not married to you, really, this should be structured as a business relationship, a business transaction if you're going in to buy property together. That's just how I feel. And take it from me, experience, right? And so, of course, it didn't work out. Horrible, because I really liked the house. But homeboy was like, no, you can't stay. He's like, I want my money. Never paid a dime. In 2 years that he's lived there, right? We'll go there, right? So I basically paid for the house. And we had to move. I had to sell the house because he said he wanted out. And fine. The house was profitable, and I gave him about half. And when I say, I'm not talking chump change. We can't talk figures. We're all women in here. Transparent. It's okay, right? I gave him $50,000, and it burned me, right, in my bed. No, because that's not little bit of money. And I felt like, Simone, that's yours. You've earned it, right? And even my mother was like, no, Simone, no. But I say, God don't like ugly. It's okay, even though it did burn me, right? But I learned a lesson as well. So in that space in time, I gave him the check. We went our separate ways. And Simone had a little condo that she bought for $70,000 that her mortgage is $300 a month on, okay? That I'd never, ever, ever give up. It's beautiful inside. On the outside, you might want to, but it's nice. It's nice, it's cozy. But I said to myself, why, if I never did really put down my foot and get this little place in the time that I did, this man would have me living on the street with my kids, right? Because they want the money. And safe to say, we're there, and I get diligent with my profit first, man. I start getting rigider. Right? Every week, as the week done, I go into my account, I say, okay, this is what I get. All right, 10%, move it. Right? Because I was just so adamant that I wanted better for my boys. Right? I wanted them to be in an area with nice schools. Right? I didn't want them to suffer from mommy's decisions because we're women, we make mistakes. This is all a part of the growth. But I say that to say, if I never have that profit first, chilling on, right? I was able to get something so much nicer. I thought the home that I had before was the one, right? I'm a ball. I said, Lord, why? Why are you doing this? Like, this is the place. Like, this is what I envisioned, right? And little did I know he had so much more in store for me, right? And it was just a testament to sticking to your goals and understanding that we're not perfect human beings. We will make mistakes. We will fall on our faces. Listen, I deal with money every day. Money come, money go. One week you have it, some week you're flat. Right? Even wealthy people. I just read the Elon Musk book. Billionaire. Right? And sometimes he just doesn't have it because he's investing in other things. Right? So don't get discouraged if things are not coming in exactly how you'd like right away. Stay the course. Right? That's what Dr. Much, stay the course. Okay? There's a plan. I like to say passive income is not really passive. You have to kind of work for it still. Right? So you should have some type of passive income. Have to. All right? We are women with multiple sources of income. We're multifaceted. Passive income is one. The income that I'm working for is another. My business is another. Right? Anything else? You could want to consult or you want to be a speaker. Right? Have the money coming in from different sources. All right. Number 3. You're not living for now, you're living for the future. What you're making now, especially for my folks, if you're in post-career stage right now, and you've never established yourself younger, you can attest to it being difficult. But I want you guys to really think about how do you see yourself in the future and where you want to be. So we're going to do some visualization. And we're going to think about if money was never a factor, it's not a factor in your life. If you were earning what you wanted to earn, or you think you deserve to earn, what would your day be like? Let's think about this. Sleep. I like that one. Tired. Think about you wake up in the morning, right? You're in the house of your dreams. Think about it. If money was not a factor in your life, how would things change? How would you wake up? Where would you be? Would you be in Jamaica? Would you be in South America? Where would you be? Think about it, right? Do you have someone making your smoothies and bringing them to you in bed? Visualize it. What do you want? Be clear. Be very clear. And that was a big lesson I learned when I was with that guy, right? Because at the time, when I prayed for a boyfriend, or future husband at the time, all I did tell God was that he needs to have a car, have a good job. I wasn't, and wanted somebody with locks and tall and handsome, right? I was not very clear on much else, and I kind of got what I asked for. I did. You think about how you want the house to smell, right? Think about what flowers you would plant in your garden. How would your day be? Right? If you were earning the money that you wanted to earn. And carry that with you because you will get there. All right? Another biggie for me is succession planning. And I think as black people, we falter a lot in that area. We think about the now and, things happen. We lose people every day. What's next? How will your business continue on without you? How will your family continue on without you? Extremely important. I'm a strong believer in having a trust, right? And some people might say, well, I don't have nothing to put in no trust. Yes, you do. I'm a strong believer in putting a trust in place to ensure that if you pass away, or when, everything is delineated how you want it, exactly how you want it to go. No questions asked, right? A trust is more powerful than a will. A trust is more powerful than a will, okay? Guys, I am here as a living testimony to the fact that anything you put your mind to, it can be achieved. um, you know where you need to be. You know where God is calling you to go, right? The steps that I just gave you is just really the tip of the iceberg. But I feel like monetizing yourself, putting yourself out there, making sure you're charging what you're supposed to charge, right? Price your products properly. Put them out there. Let people know how to reach you. When you start to get the money, manage it well. If you don't do nothing else, make sure you have that profit first account. 10% off the top, right? Find ways to invest that will bring you other sources of income. Invest in property. Property increases in value over time, usually, okay? Property gives you passive income, okay? You want to get to a place that when you are older, money is not an issue for you. It's coming. You're taken care of. Nothing is missing, okay? And that, ladies, is where I'm going to leave you today. And I want to repeat our affirmations before we leave. And I'm going to encourage you to also write your own. And I have it on my mirror. I'll be very transparent. I have like sticky notes everywhere because I just need to be poured into sometimes because, you know, lives, right? And so do what works for you, but always find a way to remind yourself of the goal. Where am I trying to get to? And how does my actions today influence that when it comes to my money, right? So repeat after me. I attract money effortlessly. Money flows into my life with ease. All my needs are met. And nothing is missing. Thank you, ladies and gents. All right.
Thank you,
Thank
Simone
you.
Keize. That was good, right? Stay right there, just in case anyone has any questions. That was good. Invest in property. For those who are already thinking, I don't have the money to invest in property anyway, let me just ask that question for you first. I don't have the money to invest in property. What do I do? Do you recommend us partnering together?
I do.
Not with a man who we're in love with.
No, yeah.
I got that part.
So that's an excellent question, actually. Don't be afraid to pool your resources to get to where you need to be. I know I gave this example about Homeboy, but in reality, establish your businesses, write a contract, right? Make sure the contract is airtight. But there's power in collectivity, right? So if you yourself don't have it right now, maybe you and a couple girlfriends can start an investment club. There has been investment clubs that are around. I think that's a really good idea. Mm-hmm. Pool your funds.
Pool your funds. All right, so I have two questions on this side. Let me make my way. I saw this one first. I'm coming to you.
Hi, good morning. I'm Lynette. So you mentioned 5 accounts, but I think you only gave us 4. So if you could let us know the 5th one.
They were the profit first, tax, operations, receivable, and a payables. So this is for like your subcontractors, or if you're going into an industry where you may have to buy things, products, that would be that account. Because you want to kind of also track that operational expense. I do feel like every business owner should try to take at least 30% home at minimum. It's hard, and I know, especially if you're in food industry, I know the margins can tend to be small, right? But ideally, if you're providing a service, try and take home at least 30 to 35% of that, what you bill.
So that was kind of my next question, like, what's the percentage that you think we should put into each, like, you know, our profit, etc.?
So I actually did list them here. So good question. So for your operations, I say cap that at 40%. Operational expenses, 40%. right? We said 5% for tax savings, right? And I had 15% for payables, if possible, right? And having a payables account is up to you, but I like to know my light, my water, my fixed expenses. That's what usually comes from my operational account, right? Everything else just comes from my payable, anybody I need to pay outside, right? And that should get you to where you need to be.
Thank you. We
Yeah.
have one other question. By the way, I love the fact that we're making notes, but when we get home, let's take these notes off the paper and into the bank. Good? True.
No, it's true.
Because we have to get you on the video light.
Hi, morning,
Hi.
Jodiana.
Hi.
So my first question is there a specific type of account that we should be putting this money in, especially the profit first?
Do you mean like checking our savings?
High yield
Or
savings.
Yield
High
or-
yield savings.
Yes.
Especially for if you have to pay taxes, I highly recommend putting that also in an account that will yield. Because if you don't have to pay the taxes until the end of the year and you're saving it, let it work for you. Get the interest income, right? So both the profit first and the tax account should be accounts that will give you some type of high yield percentage, right?
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And so I know your first rule is I need multiple sources of income. But say I do have a really good income, how do you recommend I divvy up the very good income until I get the second and third and fourth?
Good one. So, if you are still earning on a 9 to 5, what I want you to do is you would still establish and maintain that profit first, separate from your savings, right? Your savings is, I have a list of what I can tap my savings for. Emergency travel, health, like certain things I know like this is the only way I touch in these accounts. But for the profit first, that's my money making. So if I know I make the money, don't touch it, okay? Until you're ready to invest, you form your investment club, so forth. If any of you here reside in the US, I highly recommend saving towards retirement early, right? Save towards it early. The US has caps on how much you can give every year, so forth. And if your job is offering you any type of benefits, 401k retirement, max it out if you can, right? Free money, right? Don't leave it on the table. Okay.
One more question. Well, I have a couple questions, but
Yeah.
this is
Hi. Good morning, everyone.
your name?
My name is Diana Williams,
Hi, Diana.
author of the Transformational Leader's Guide. So you've asked us to...
Nice.
Love that.
I like that.
Love that.
I want that.
You've asked us to make money work for us, but what are some quick tips that you can share with us for us to be debt-free?
Okay. I highly believe in the snowball effect. Who know Dave Ramsey? Yeah. It works like a charm. So what it is you are going to make a list of all the debt you have in the order of smallest to largest. Okay? Not the interest rate. We're talking about the dollar. Okay? Once you've made that list, you pay off the lowest one first. So, whatever monthly payments that you normally make, you just go through, you're making those payments first. But the aim is to pay off that first one. If you can put a little bit more towards that first one, great. When the first debt is paid off, you use the same money that you were using towards the first debt and the second to pay up the second. So basically, you're already used to paying a certain amount of money from your income to pay it off anyway. What we're saying is don't lower that because the one debt has fallen off. Keep the same one, put the money from the first one onto the second one, and then you tackle that, right? And you just keep going, right? Third one, you take the money from the first and the second, right? I guarantee you, in no time, you'll see it just, and there's also a psychology, there's a thing behind it wherein when you see the debt going away, especially the first one, you're like, you feel it's exciting, right? Because you're like, I'm doing this, right? And that's the thing. You want to slowly just be diligent with that. And I promise you, Trust me, in no time.
Hi,
Where? Oh,
my name is Dr. Ivana Thomas. Great job, by the way. Really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
this. You started on the road of partnership and then you're like, bad idea, stop. I'm very curious about that because I'm considering, so.
Well, oh, I have it. I have it, Simone, just a sec. So you're considering partnership,
New venture that I'm doing.
and you discourage that, Simone?
is it for a particular contract, or is it that you plan for this to be an ongoing thing?
Well, I was thinking about an ongoing, yeah.
Do your partner, do they have different skill sets than you do? Expertise in the various areas that you're trying to?
Yes, because I'm a medical doctor and then, so they would come with other skill sets.
Okay, all right. So, I don't frown upon that, especially, at that profession, you're a doctor, right? The big thing is get a tight operational agreement before you start. I want you to think about, and I could probably take your info because I have a template, but just some things to think about. When can you take money? How much? What percentage? Who, what, when, where, why? If we dissolve, etc. And I always recommend that you guys have the meeting and iron it out and then bring that to the lawyer. Don't, because you're just paying the lawyer to hash that out. No, hash that out first. Go to the lawyer and say, hey, this is what we want. You put in your verbiage because otherwise you're paying so much to them, right? But that is actually very important. My partners were not pulling their weight. And so once you find that out too, guys, I think that's another thing. We're emotional beings. And we give people the benefit of the doubt, and even though in our hearts we know that this is not going to work, we carry on and we continue, and that's what happened to me, right? Because I just didn't want to have that hard conversation until God was like, no, you are drained, you cannot continue. And it was one of the best decisions. I feel so great, and then now all the money is mine.
I love that. Any other questions for, if I could just get a timestamp, by the way, on.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Or good afternoon now, actually. My name is Grace, and today is my birthday. So.
Happy
Thank
birthday!
It's really great to be here. I always enjoy being born on Women's International Day, or International Women's Day. But with respect to money, you talked about the fact that you should maybe consider entrepreneurship. At some point, even if you are in a 9-to-5, you work with people. Or when you're an entrepreneur, you work with people. So we can't ignore the people element of it.
Whew.
That said, what are your tips for when things go wrong? For example, when you have business engagements with family or other relatives, and you had a contract, but because you're related, they default on it and figure we're family,
Yeah.
so they don't have to pay you back. And then in the workplace, when you have colleagues who try to impede your success by maybe, stealing your talents and purporting it's their own. So the people element of money.
No, it's...
Wait. I think everybody just needs to breathe in and breathe out. You stepped on everybody's toenail, corn, everything. Ooh, woosah, yes.
That is the hardest part of entrepreneurship.
Yep.
People management. And, I went to school for accounting. I want to do accounting. Not HR, but I will tell you this. Number one, familiarity breeds contempt, right? So you want to set a boundary. Number two, be very direct and make people realize you're not playing. I don't know how else to put that because I come from a very cutthroat corporate environment before I started my practice. Like, I could be sitting beside and they're key today, and then right around the corner. And I wasn't used to it. I just thought everybody was nice, so Simone was nice too. And you hear the adage where people are like, you have to be a certain word to excel in the corporate environment. And I'm like, I am not that person. So what's going to happen here, right? Your uniqueness is what sells. The more transparent, the more open, and the more of yourself that you are, I feel like the more people will gravitate towards you naturally. And what is for you is for you. Because anybody who would ever try mash my corner group, right now, them thing that turn up like me. That's something. Right? I've always, karma, I've always, and it's not a boasting thing, but I've always realized that it always comes back. But in the moment that you're going through it, setting the boundaries is good. If you are the employer, you want to make sure that, you're having those conversations. And I like to use tools so people don't play with me. Like I use Asana. I use, I lately transitioned to accounting software, but Monday. But it's very clear, I want this by this date. If you cannot, I expect, so we could come to a consensus as to X, Y, Z. And normally when you're that upfront and they realize you're not playing, they start to shape up. But it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time. And if you are the entrepreneur, you want to develop a culture in your organization that is welcoming. And that's not easy because, people are people and people talk, people this, people that, but the tone comes from the top. The tone comes from the top trickling down. So believe it or not, it's really an inward reflection too as to how or why is this happening. And you can move from there. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Thank you so much, Simone. A round of applause for her, please.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.